What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fire, Eric Sheetshaber. We're going to be talking through this MLB slate, a 10-gamer on DraftKings and FanDuel. Had a lighter slate on Monday. Did not do well. I actually haven't checked the winners, but I wanted to see because it felt like a night where literally like not stacking was like the ideal night last night. Smaller slate, no stacks really got there as a whole. I don't think there's any stacks that had anybody with double, more than 3 guys with double-digit points.
Well, since you brought it up, let's see if we can't.
I'm just jumping in real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's see if we can't do this.
A 4-2-1-1 won the lottery, and that's from Giant Squid, who is, as we know, a major player and usually would lean towards the stacking side of things.
Yeah, he's Mr. Saberson.
Yeah, so he didn't even get to the 5-man. So just to proof, something I want to track along the way. And remember, 90+% on slates like last night, maybe it's 92 or 93%. On most slates, it's about 96, 98% of people are stacking 5-mans. So anything you're doing that's getting a little different, I just think it's worth like just keeping an eye on this year. And especially on those smaller slates that you really don't need to necessarily 5-man stack all the time. Now, Sheets has his way, so don't change anything. But it just is another proof to show that like there are other ways to skin a cat, so to say. Yeah, the 5-man did won like the single entries and stuff last night with a couple of zeros. But it's just interesting to notice.
Well, let's see if we can't see what's going on here. So just want to see how in the sim average profit, like what I got to do better as far as like being able to analyze these. I don't know how to click my way around here to find what stacks did well or whatever. I mean, I know who, Giant Squid won, right? So that's pretty easy for me to look at that. Brandon Adams had 1 entry in the lottery and he cashed for 10,000.
That's bizarre because he doesn't ever not max or enter everything. I'll bet you that had no stack. I'll bet you. Let's see. Let me just take a quick look because I was out on it. He was because he entered a bunch the other day and didn't have any either. I just think it's interesting. I think that we should really be like looking at this as we think we have it all figured out, but we may not. Yeah, Brandon Adams with the 1 entry. That's wild. He did have a 5-man, including 1 player who did not play.
What?
So yeah, he had the wrong catcher who did not play, and he had Jackson Merrill. He had 2 guys who didn't play. So his 2 zeros from the San Diego were guys who did not play, and we're not in the starting lineup and didn't get an at bat. How about that?
All right,
and he finished 3rd.
I'm gonna make a note. I want to reach out to Jordan literally right now. I want him to show me how to use this stuff a little bit better. Like I just don't know how to click around these things and see the lineups the way I want to. So wait, before we even do that, if you won't mind, let's let me do this. Otherwise, I'm just not gonna remember. Actually, you know what? I'll remember. All right, let's go back to today.
Yeah, we'll get into today. But I did want to just point these things out. I really think there's something that is pretty wild, though. Sheets, how about like a 5-man? He has a 5-man stack, and 2 of the 5 didn't play, and finished 3rd in the lottery. So that just goes to show you what kind of a night it was. It was really, there was absolutely nobody who, if let's just say for argument's sake, you had as many lineups that didn't stack versus lineups that did, and everybody X'd out the 5-mans. They would have won. You would not have seen a 5-man stack in the top 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever. I just think it's kind of interesting. All right, you ready to?
Hold on.
You're ready for today. All right.
Walk me through post contest sims. I can't seem to navigate it. 2 p.m.
All right, so guys, I'll start talking about the.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. All right, so should we pull up the screen and go? Or let's go through the game by game here.
Yeah, let me. I'm sorry. I'm just all over my.
Sorry, I sprung it on. I sprung you on the other thing that we didn't have to get into, but
okay,
I just,
no problem.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're great at this. Like, always trying to find ways to move with the way that things are moving and picking up on new trends. I don't know. I'm very fascinated by this kind of thing. So I just thought it was interesting.
Well, once I figure out exactly how I can view it, then I'll be more than happy to do the analysis. I just don't know.
Yeah. The SaberSim one is a little bit for past and even current. Like, I noticed I've been using the tracking the ROI percentage and things like that. It's really, there's a lot of problems there. It's not foolproof at all. It's definitely got some issues. All right, let's get into it. So starting off, you want to start off with Angels in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I mean, just to give you a head, kind of slate preview, and we do have I guess this is our first real like Coors slate, where you actually have like a team with a big total, like in Colorado. That's going to be really chalky.
Yeah.
So whenever you have that, it's just, listen, it's a different dynamic. I mean, I always know which is going to be the top projected team, and then it's just a question of how you approach it. I'm curious to see what the Sims do with this type of situation. So overall, again, we'll go game by game. I kind of have like 3 pitchers to me that stand out above the rest, maybe 4. We'll talk about one of them, and then FanDuel kind of the same thing, 3 with 4. And then I have a pretty solid core of stacks that I'm gonna look at. Now, again, when we actually build lineups, we might get to something different. But aside from the Coors slate, I do have a couple of good options. So first of all, Angels Tampa. I actually have Tampa as one of the top options on the slate for me. I didn't build yet, but if I just had to say, what stacks look the best from a projection perspective, I would have I would have Tampa rated right now, both on DraftKings and FanDuel. Like DraftKings, I'd have them rated 4th, and Tampa, on FanDuel, I'd have them rated 2nd. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And while maybe the pitchers in this game might be fringy or whatever, I'm not getting either of them as kind of top plays at all.
Yeah, I don't mind Shane Baz all that much from Tampa Bay. I actually think that his projection might be it looks reasonable. Even SaberSim has it a little lower than you and Goldie do, but I'm sort of into the Shane Baz idea a little bit as just a guy to consider. There's other pitchers later on that we'll get into, but in my first runs, I didn't. I got to a very little bit of Tampa Bay. I think they're going to have some ownership tonight. It's not a high powerful offense, and they do have some. There's occasionally some pinch hit risk for a few of these guys. They sort of play that style, but I think they're okay. They're on my board for sure. It's indoors, and obviously not. Oh no, it's not indoors. I'm sorry. Tampa Bay is no longer indoors. I actually don't even know what the weather is there. I keep forgetting this, that they moved to the outdoor stadium. While their stuff's getting done. So it's about 68 degrees though, a little bit of wind blowing out. Yeah, certainly fine with Tampa as a stack. Just didn't get to a bunch in my first run, but I'm totally open to it.
Philly, Atlanta. This is the first of the main pitchers that I'm getting to, and that would be Chris Sale. I am a little surprised that I'm not getting to more Zach Wheeler. I guess just because the price is just so brutal. I guess, and maybe it's not that brutal, but when I'm staring at Chris Sale like 2K less, and we'll get to like Cole Reagan's like 2K less than or 2,400 less. It's kind of hard to get to Wheeler, I think, or it's kind of hard to justify getting to Wheeler. So I'm currently right now getting Sale as my number 1 pitcher on FanDuel and number 2 pitcher on DraftKings. And it doesn't look like I'm getting to any of the hitting here.
Yeah, I much prefer Wheeler to Sale. I think for me, it's a fairly big gap. Now, what Sale does have going is that Philly's best hitters are left-handed, and he's really obviously tough on lefties. But I think Wheeler is the better option, especially on FanDuel. Look, Atlanta has not touched the ball this season. They've been I think they've been the worst offense in baseball. Now, I think that will come back at some point, but I like Wheeler. I think Sale is totally in play, but I don't really like messing with these Phillies if I don't have to. I think Philly's a lot more and they're an annoying lineup to pitch to too, because they have, they've got the great lefties. They've got some good righties as well, and they make you throw pitches. So they're not a lot of fun. And both pitchers obviously totally in play, but for me, it's Wheeler above Sale right now, especially factoring that he's going to be lower owned. So that's just sort of where I'm at. All right, did you check already, or do you want me to answer the Cubs question about the weather?
I guess it's not so bad. I mean, if I'm looking at these totals, it looks like pretty normal.
I don't know where the hell those totals are coming from.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's actually, I guess, not that different. It's got an 8 total, and you've got you've got Patrick Corbin on the mound, so that's partly why the total's not lower. It's 35 degrees, winds blowing in 10 miles an hour from right field. So if you're playing anything, you probably want the righties for Chicago. That would be my take on this one, just based on what's there. Another terrible hitting day.
Yeah, I'm not getting to anything in this game. I'm not getting to hitting or pitching in this game.
Yeah, and I just want to point out something about the Justin Steele thing yesterday. So I thought that was a terrible play by the field not to play more of Justin Steele. I really do. And I mean, he didn't have to put up 75 million fantasy points, but I really did. With that kind of weather against a bad offense with strikeout, like, I just don't understand. I mean, I'm sorry, against an offense that strikes out, I just thought that it was like a really, really strong play. And he ended up like 20%. I thought he would have been like closer to 40 or 50%. And sure, there was other great arms on the slate. Kentor Green had a great game. Logan Webb had a terrific game. And he was actually my highest owned pitcher on FanDuel, Logan Webb. But I really was surprised that there wasn't more people using the Steele yesterday. And I think I'm going to have to consider some tie-on just because of the weather. And honestly, it's horrible hitting weather, but I'm probably going to nearly X out. Well, I'll probably just make sure I don't have too much from Texas, but I definitely want to get, even with the weather blowing in, things blowing in from right field. I like the idea of some of the Cubs righties against Corbin. It's just hard. And you've got some massive stolen base upside for guys like Nico Horner. So maybe it's more of a mini stack, but I think some of the Cubs righties, I'm at least going to consider, and they're going to run all over Corbin. I'm shocked that Patrick Corbin still has a job. It's pretty incredible. So, okay, what's up next?
What's up next is I just think is a complete misprice.
Okay.
I think Cole Reagans is like by far the best play on the slate. I have him rated like number 1 on DraftKings by a little bit. I have him rated maybe like 3rd or so on FanDuel a little bit. He's freaking 8,100. And I think he's got the same ceiling as pretty much everybody else here on the slate. So I don't know. He's probably going to be, I imagine he's going to be the most popular at that price. So I definitely like him. As far as hitting goes, I'm not really getting to Kansas City. Obviously, I'm not going to get to Minnesota. And that's, my very, very chalky view of this game.
I mean, I love Reagans in general. I'm not lefties against Minnesota have not been the greatest thing over the last couple of years. Still early in the season this year. You're going to have basically all righties. Reasonable total for them, by the way. Pretty good hitting weather. 61 degrees, 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing to left. I say pretty good considering the other slates we're looking at. So I guess that's why. But at this price, I kind of, it's hard for me not to agree with you. Like that Reagans is interesting. I think your direct pivot is like right on the other side of this game is Pablo Lopez. So I will probably be overweight both of these pitchers, and it won't take much to get overweight on Lopez because no one's going to play him.
No, he's going to be 5%.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting tournament play. There's some good pitching on this slate, actually. I think Pablo Lopez has some upside here. So I'm interested a little bit in both pitchers, and because of it, I am not really that interested in the hitting. If I had to pick one side, it would obviously be Kansas City. But I think that it's a pretty good pitching matchup. All right, our first Coors one.
Yeah, so Milwaukee's, the top projected team. They have the top total, and they're going to be really popular. Do you play them or not? I don't know. It depends. Again, here's the usual speech. Like if you're going to play Milwaukee, you should probably play them with lower owned pitchers, or you should not do full 5-man stacks, or if you're going to do 5-man stacks, do like 1, 2, 6, 8, 9s or whatever,
Yeah.
and not make them the normal ones. If you just play the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Milwaukee with Reagans and Sale or somebody like that, I mean, you're gonna put a lot of pressure on yourself to be perfect in your lineup, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
On the other side, I listen. I think that Peralta is completely in play here. He slings it. You know what I mean? Like, he slings it hard. Colorado is not great, and if you get the right Freddie Peralta on the right day, in a Coors slate where maybe he won't be played, I think you do it. But now I'm looking at his ownership. It's not like he's being ignored here. He's like 17%. When are pitchers in Colorado over 10% owned? So maybe not. I was hoping I'd be getting a real ownership break, but you know what? He's only 7,800. So he's a pivot off of Reagan's too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just where the price goes, and he certainly has ceiling, and he obviously certainly has floor here. So I guess what might be a good idea, if you're going to play the Coors game instead of playing Milwaukee, maybe play the Colorado side. It's a little harder because he's actually you're getting a good pitcher. But if you're going to get like 15-20% ownership on Peralta, you can get the Colorado side of this in this game. Maybe that's the better way to do it.
Yeah, I think that maybe that's the thing. Like, you get a super low owned Colorado stack. The problem is, I also, like you, kind of like Peralta. I think Peralta has the second highest expected strikeouts on the slate. I mean, remember, Colorado's terrible, but terrible. They still scored 12 runs the other day at home. Like I said, they're playing in Colorado still, and we don't really have weather concerns in this one at all. So I kind of am thinking about maybe Xing out the 5-man Milwaukee stacks and maybe looking to get to some Colorado. That's, again, I'll still get to Milwaukee, some 3-mans. I'll probably end up with some 4-4s or something like that. And again, it's just not the small slate it was yesterday. So I do want to keep it a little bit more stack cohesive, but I'm open to the 4-4s and 4-3-1s a little more than most are, 4-2-2s occasionally. So maybe I X out Milwaukee as a 5-man. There's other stacks to like. We already mentioned Tampa Bay as a good one. I'm still trying to figure out if I can tuck myself into the Cubs in 35-degree weather with the righties against Corbin. Anyway, I think Colorado may be a team I end up using later. Also, Peralta is going to be popular even in Colorado. That's just the way it goes with strikeout props are that high. All right, then we get to Houston and Seattle. It feels like these games all feel the same because Seattle's always got a good pitcher on the mound, and it feels like they're always facing a good pitcher or like a reasonably good pitcher.
Yeah, I agree. I think that those two realities are probably going to keep me off of this game for the most part. Houston's good enough I guess, to have me stop to not play Castillo. It's an interesting price point on Castillo. You know what I mean? And for that matter, for Valdez, I mean, you have these cheapos sort of with like Reagan's and 8,100, and then you're spending up to Sale 9,300. This price kind of falls in the middle of that. So it's possible that the Castillo lineups are going to be particularly unique. Boy, I don't know. When's the last time I made money playing Castillo? I don't know. And again, Houston's no bargain, but I don't know. I think that again in MME you'll probably get to some of both of these pitchers, but I can't prioritize them over the ones that we talked about already, and I'm not getting to any of the hitting.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, this is the one team that, Framber Valdez is not, never pitches well against them. And he's got a pretty big sample size because he faces them, they're in division. But yeah, I mean, they're hitting 290 off of him as a team. I don't know that I want to go so far as to say take some Seattle stacks. Valdez is Mr. Quality Starts, as we know. And I also, but I do think I don't think I'm going to be that into the pitching, to be honest with you. I do sort of have some interest in the Houston stack, even though they've been terrible against Castillo. Look, I've always been the guy with Castillo and Berrios, where when no one's playing them, I like to play them a little. when people are playing them, I love to stack against them. I feel like this might be a situation where I consider it. So I have Houston as like a tier 2, kind of maybe a mini stack or something, like Alvarez and the cheap kid with maybe Walker or Paredes. Houston's lineup should be a lot better than they've been so far. So we'll see, but they should be a lot better.
For those that didn't pick this up, I loaded the projections. There was another pitcher who I would have probably made a fourth option and their game got moved or something. The Met-Miami game is not on the slate. So I was going to get to Holmes, or we would have this Holmes discussion. I didn't realize it's not on that game's not on the slate anymore. So forget that. Okay, next game. I'm with you, sir.
What?
In the Baltimore-Arizona game.
You know what I'm going to say?
I'm with you. I'm totally in. I have Baltimore as one of my top 5 stacks, and I'm in the attack the Merrill Kelly experience tonight. In addition to that, I'll play the Arizona side too. It is kind of a weirdly tempting price on Charlie Morton, honestly, but
yeah,
not,
I hear you.
but not in this. I don't know, not in this environment. I think this game could be a fiesta. I really do. I think that I think this game could blow up. So I'm all over both sides of this.
Yeah, I'm totally in. I don't have anything else to add. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
These are 2 that I'll be targeting for sure. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm in on it. I'm just going to double check. I'm almost positive that, let me just see something. Arizona, let's see. It's got to be open. I would be shocked at this time of year if they don't have it open. It's opened every game so far, I believe, and it is open. It will be closed tomorrow, however, but it is open today. I'm in on this, both sides. I don't love. I don't know where Charlie Morton's at right now, but I just feel like this feels like the game to go after for me. I'm with you. All right, we've got Roop and Lodolo in San Francisco sheets. What do you got here?
I've got I got a little bit of San Francisco on my board here. I have San Francisco rated, and I've already gone over. Actually, we got the Padres. I got to get to in a minute, but already went over my top stacks on DraftKings. You have Milwaukee, Zona, Tampa, Baltimore, but I do have San Francisco just right there. Not so much on FanDuel, but definitely right there on DraftKings. I'm not getting to the Lodolo. You always had a little more respect for the Lodolo love than I did, than the projections did, whatever. So yeah, I'm getting a little San Francisco, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't really have much of the hitting at the moment. I think if I did, I'd go for Cincinnati, but I do kind of have some interest in Lodolo. It's just that it's hard to argue for him over the other prices, the pitchers in his price tier, but because of it, you're going to get him at like 2%, maybe a little bit higher than that, but still, you see what I'm saying? And I don't know why the projection is quite as high as it is on Roop. So those are 2 that I'm not quite sure on. Very mild interest in Cincinnati, but it's mild, and that's pretty much just would be maybe a little. I might end up with like a couple percentage points of each pitcher, but nothing crazy.
Who was the guy? The other guy on the Reds that you kind of liked that just I don't even know if he's still pitching this year. Guy who he led the league in fantasy points for like the first half of the season or something.
Yeah, who was it? Now I'm trying to remember. I'll think of it.
Andrew Abbott, is that possible?
Oh, Abbott. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if he's still there. I wonder what's going on.
I think he had an arm issue and had to have the surgery or something. I thought.
Yeah. All right. So if you didn't like any of that, you got Padres Athletics, and I have to say that I'm kind of in here. So Cease reminds me of Wheeler in a way. I mean, they in that they're expensive, but they have ceiling, and Cease always has ceiling. Second thing,
yeah, I'm in on that as well. I think that I also.
I was still talking. Wait. Or did I lose you? I think I lost you a little bit here. Bobby, you there? I don't know. I think I lost you. But I'll just keep talking. I don't know. Whatever. I think Cease is obviously has some ceiling, and I also have the Padres as a very viable stack here. Yeah, we lost you,
Oh,
Bobby.
I cut out. That's so weird.
Let me just finish what I was saying. So,
Yeah, sorry.
so I think Cease obviously has some ceiling here, and also the Padres as a hitting team. I have them as the number 2 rated stack on DraftKings. And the other thing I would say is that as I see Eric Johnson in the chat here, I have no problem playing the A's here as well. The only thing I would say is that I'm just not sure how popular Cease is going to be. You know, like I have Saberson projecting him at only 10%, 11% ownership because of his price. So you don't get the same leverage that you would normally get when you play the A's. But you're still going to get a low owned stack. It's just not going to be like a lot of leverage here. But Cease is the kind of guy I've seen it happen. I mean, I've seen him get roasted. But so I'm kind of into Oakland a little bit as a contrarian stack, and certainly if things aren't going my way and all I got are Baltimore's and Arizona's and they look like they're going to be popular, I'll pivot some of that to Oakland just for funsies or whatever. Or if I have San Diego stacks and I need to pivot to something, I'll go for funsies. But I definitely think that Cease in San Diego, and I guess it's 3-prong, or I guess Oakland as well.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. That's what I was saying.
You like the Springs? Eric is talking about Springs here.
I love Springs as a pitcher. He's not going to throw 80 pitches. I mean, he just doesn't throw pitches. And you're facing the worst possible matchup for a left-handed pitcher in all of baseball against San Diego, righties who don't strike out against lefties. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to put to have some stacks of both these teams, even in tough matchups. I still believe in the park as being as potentially being a good hitter's park, and I like both offenses in general. We both know that. So I've got I have the Baltimore, Arizona as my favorite, but Baltimore especially, and then I have I like Milwaukee. It's just I don't know how much of them I'm going to really play as chalk. But after those, I have San Diego, then Tampa Bay, then Oakland, and I'm going to get to some Colorado today.
Well, let's try. Let's see what we get here. So I already preloaded the contests, and I have not run anything yet. So we're going to do this literally for the first time. And again, what I'd like to see is what I'd be getting without simming and what I'd be getting with simming. And again, just to remind everybody what we're talking about here. This is not talking about the game simulations. Okay, this is just the contest simulations. The game simulations are already done by SaberSim when when you're building these initial lineups. When I say pre-sim or post-sim, I mean when you're applying the contest sims to your lineups and trying to figure out what the rest of the field is going to do specifically to those contests. But again, as I brought up yesterday, doing these regular Saber score builds are not particularly bad. You know what I mean? You are still getting a lot of upside, and you are still getting a decent amount of ownership fade. Like to that point, when I would just run these in general, like the top 5,000 lineups, without applying contest sims, I would be getting, as far as stacks go, Baltimore would be 40%, and that's not surprising. I'd be getting 30% Houston, which actually is somewhat surprising against Castillo.
I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and what's interesting again is it's not just it's not just the highest projected. I mean, it is taken into account to some degree what ownership is going to look like. So then it would give me mostly 5-mans. Okay, I probably wouldn't touch that. As far as pitchers go, let's see, rating by exposure. Wow, 40% Peralta. You know,
I mean, I think he's going to be the third most popular pitcher on the slate for what it's worth.
Oh yeah. So Peralta, Reagan, Sale, pretty much even as far as the
yeah,
as far as that goes. But I'm getting very little. That's what I have. Reagan's, Sale, Peralta. Those are my top three anyway. A little sprinkles here of Cease, Valdez, Tyon. You mentioned a little bit.
Just because the weather, but like it feels the more we went through the slate and talked about the pitching, it feels like there's so many options that it'd be weird to play Jameson Tyon.
So now to see, we click on this contest sim button.
Corbin is an idiotic play to answer Eric's question.
It is. You sure?
100%. Why would you a team that doesn't strike out even in college? I mean, look what did it do last night for a good pitcher like Eovaldi against them? Yeah. They still scored 7 runs in like 4 innings. They just didn't. They all did it through singles. Why would Corbin be in play exactly? What am I missing?
Just because he has tricks. I don't know.
He doesn't have tricks.
No tricks.
No tricks. And on this slate where there's like a million good pitchers,
tricks are for kids.
You know what he's got is a leash. He has a leash. He's got the lowest strikeout prop of anybody on this, lowest strikeout rate of anybody on the slate, highest walk, highest power against him, and highest stolen bases against him. He's the second or third worst pitcher in baseball. I don't think it's really up unless he totally changed everything since last year, which we've seen before. So it's possible.
I guess if you want to play in that range, you're probably better off with the kind of oddly priced Charlie Morton, I guess.
I agree with that. I didn't even, but the truth is, spending down on pitching on these kind of slates, unless you're doing it with guys with upside, is really just a terrible way to play. You really don't need to spend down on pitching
unless you play Andrew Heaney.
Yeah, like exactly. That's the kind of guy you want for the low. You want the low price, but the truth is, you really don't need to spend down hardly ever for pitching. It's just as long as DraftKings keeps the pricing soft and we've got a bunch of 2K guys available, it just fits into your stacks. You're going to have 2K something guys in your stacks. Do that, spend the 1,200 less on the 8 hitter instead of the 7 hitter, or get a totally different pitcher. I just don't get that strategy.
One second.
Okay, do your thing.
We're recording.
All right, Eric, you're on for that bet. Eric, I know that I like the bold takes, and I'm big on the A's this year, but I think that this Corbin take is really bad. Even though the weather is, if he gets there, it's going to be all BABIPs. It's going to be all BABIP. And how is he going to outscore the other pitchers? It's not that he even look, if this was like yesterday's slate, you could maybe consider it. Smaller slate, actually, there was some obvious pitchers yesterday too. But there's so many pitchers on this slate with upside. There's just no upside there. He doesn't strike anybody out anymore. And the Cubs don't strike out. So I can't do the Corbin thing.
What about
if he was 4K, maybe 3K, I still probably wouldn't do it, but I would consider it at least.
Well, here's the other thing. When I ran these sims, this is an interesting result. I'd be getting actually 55% Texas. Texas is an interesting idea.
It's 35 degrees. You got to hit into the wind for all the lefties, and that's what you're going to end up with is lefties.
I'm going to do this right now. Okay. Minnesota's the obvious one that Saberson's going to give you. Because
interesting. Okay, yeah, because mine's come up a little bit different, but I'm going to tweak some things around. Anyway, guys, I did want to mention we have all these new. I talked about the new tools with the Pay Dirt partnership along with SaberSim, and we are running one of our biggest promos ever. It's use the promo code Masters TDFS for 33% off your first month. We won't even be making any money off of you if that helps at all, because we have to pay all that back. But that's our promo code for the Masters, and it's a very limited time. So if you're able to join us, we would love to have you. And hopefully we'll see you in the premium Discord shortly. Anything else?
After you log off.
Yeah. All right.